itself where they come up with the rest of the norms that are on the list. And most of those norms were actually generated by the students themselves. And I would take what they said and I would reword it. For example, it says, be an active listener. They would say, you know, don't talk while other people are talking. And I reworded it to something a little more sophisticated. And again, I put that up in my room as a constant reminder of what we should do while we're having this type of class period. The next thing are the objectives. Because it's a means through which to teach content and through which to teach academic discourse, but it is something that you actually do have to teach in and of itself. So for example, some of the objectives that I had were, you know, how to question each other. What types of questions are good questions for in a Socratic seminar? The difference between probing questions and clarifying questions. These are things that you want to kind of sit down and think about step by step. What do my kids need? What skills do my kids need in order to be successful? And then I would create objectives around those skills and to focus the lesson around. What are some, in terms of teaching academic discourse, what is the type of language that we want to use while we're doing a Socratic seminar? What you'll find is the first few times you do it, there's a lot of uhs, there's a lot of some type of way, there's a lot of slang that works itself into the student's conversation, which is natural. They've not been taught how to have an academic conversation, and so those are things that you do definitely want to explicitly teach, which leads it to the following facing page where we talked about types of vocabulary to use. Instead of saying, you know, some type of way, I felt some type of way when I read this, well, it resonated with me. That's the word you want to use. You want to use a word like resonated. And we talk about vocabulary, and I gave them vocabulary quizzes. They had to memorize what these words were, what they meant, and then the Socratic seminars are a means through which they can practice using them in their language, or in their conversation, excuse me. I went pretty quickly. I did want to allow people a chance to kind of look through the objectives, look through the vocabulary, and kind of process. Based upon what we've talked about thus far, what are some challenges you might feel that you face trying to implement this within your classroom? Go ahead and take a few seconds to think about it. Go ahead and share with the people sitting around you. We'll talk about that.
Have that ability to speak and directly share your opinion in front of the young participants because they're very interested in art. So it does